The FAA might loosen some of its rules. It could be good news for flyers who use electronic tablets. CBS News travel editor Peter Greenberg is in London. Peter, good morning. This is based on this New York Times story. Peter, exactly what are they saying it's okay, or what might they say is okay and what not okay?
Well, first a little bit of history here, Charlie, because for the last 25 years, the FAA and a number of independent testing labs have actually subjected every conceivable electronic device to more than 100 times their normal RF interference at distances of less than 2 feet from every cockpit instrument you can imagine. And guess what? No evidence whatsoever of any electronic interference. So the evidence has been there for quite some time. What changed things was that last year, the FAA allowed some airline pilots, the first guys to do it were American Airlines pilots, to use their iPads in the cockpit. In fact, I came on the show last year when that happened and said that tells you about everything you need to know about whether or not there's actual electronic interference if they're letting the captains use their iPads in the cockpit. And that started the ball rolling.
And so why not smartphones and cell phones?
Well, that's a different deal. That's not an FAA rule. That's an FCC rule, and I hope they don't change that one. What we're dealing with here now, they won't going to deal with the cell phones. They're going to deal with readers and tablets and maybe some other electronic devices at altitudes of below 10,000 feet. Remember, the argument has always been that you couldn't use them below 10,000 feet. But let me ask you this question. Let's assume they did give off bad electronic interference that could interfere with the airplane's navigation. Well, when would you want that to happen? Below 10,000 feet, when the captain's in positive control of the airplane and can actually override anything that would happen, or at 35,000 feet when you're traveling nearly 600 miles an hour, when any activation of a flap or a speed brake could actually destroy the plane. So there's not a lot of logic here, and it's finally coming home to roost.
The announcement always says everything with an on-off button. And I'm sitting there with my iPod thinking, even the iPod that you're listening to music, do you think there's an overabundance of caution in this case,
well,
in these cases?
Yeah, there always has been, but now it's flying in the face of common sense and actual evidence. And look, I don't know a single frequent flyer, I'll be honest here, and I include myself among them, who doesn't want to sit like on the window seat so they can cheat. Nobody's turning their stuff off, and everybody knows it. And every once in a while when somebody brazenly keeps it on, a.k.a. Alec Baldwin, you hear about it. But I think right now, when you have the FCC commissioner saying to the FAA, hey, what are you doing about this? And senators like Claire McCaskill of Missouri, who basically says, this is getting silly. If you don't change it, I'm going to introduce legislation. That's prompting the FAA to start reconsidering the rule.
All right, Peter Greenberg, thank you.